Welcome back to another episode of Cobra Kai Companion. And yes, I am back and I am Peter. Over there, rehabbing, learning how to walk again is Watch Party. How you doing, sir?
It's hard, man. I've been in the hospital. Got to learn to rewalk, but Johnny's helping me.
Well, Johnny or Braden? You need a Braden to massage your legs. Is that his name? I kind of forget. The
It was
physical
something. It
therapist.
was it was a wussy name, yeah, for sure.
we, we name shaming now. Like he didn't pick it. Well, but maybe he did change his name. Uh, but yes, I am back. If you guys have not heard the trailer breakdown between Watch Party and Mike P, aka Cobra Kai Wisdom, check it out. It was a really great listen. They definitely gave me some insight into some possible like speculations into future parts. I won't give any details on that, but I had a good time listening and good job on the opening and the closing too, getting that down.
Thank you
I think
much. I was winging it.
yeah, my favorite part is when you say what did you say? Uh, Gosh darn or what was that? I'll be. Oh God, what did you say? It was about me not wanting to be on because I had already seen the screeners.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, you had already seen it.
yeah, it was that old
Gosh darn it.
timey. It
Yeah,
was something like that. Oh, gosh, be darned, or
gosh,
it
nabbit.
was something. Yeah, it was definitely something. I was just like, whoa, where did that come from? Um,
We
but
like
yeah,
to switch it up on Cobra Kai Companion.
oh, absolutely, we do. Yeah, just before we started hitting, before I hit the record button, on my end, got a little bit of good news. I got to share that with Watch Party. So, exciting stuff to drop on July 18th. At the time of this recording, I believe I have 8 episodes ready, not ready, but episodes recorded, and 5 of those are the episode reactions. For the podcast, it's probably going to be one long episode because it's easier just to pause an audio podcast
Mhm.
versus like if you wanted to queue up and have my live reactions and have that play along with your watch of Cobra Kai, then those will be broken up into separate episodes. And then, yeah,
Mhm.
got 3 interviews at this time. Got a full spoiler review. I don't know the runtime on that one, but my buddy and I, we had a really great discussion. I was really happy with how that flowed. So hopefully, you guys, keep it locked here to check that out when all that is ready to go live. So today, as we continue to revisit these seasons in preparation for the drop of part one of season six, today we're going to talk about Johnny and Anthony's promos, the character promos released by Netflix's marketing team, and also, well, I guess I already said revisit season three. So,
Mhm.
Watch Party, any other news, house cleaning before we get into these promos?
Um,
John
I
released
mean, I think the
a,
marketing's ramping up. I mean, so there's basically, I feel like there's going to be something almost probably every day till the release. I mean, maybe it'll just be a picture, a couple of pictures, some of these character promos. Um, we got the Mike Barnes scene, which we included with the trailer breakdown. I suspect there will probably be one, likely two more scenes to come. Usually
oh
there's a
yeah,
couple of
scenes.
scenes that get released. Keep in mind it's stuff like Ralph may go on Jimmy Fallon or something, right? And you know how they always
Right.
play a scene with that, so that'll be like a scene that's yet to come. So expect a few more of those.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting. I forgot about like some of those appearances that they can make that will be shared prior to the show's release as well. Do it and also kind of separate from the actual marketing, but
Mhm.
promotion of the show by the actors. So yeah, a lot of different places where we can get some of these content. Okay, so we will start off with Johnny. I think the consensus on social media is Johnny's is the best one, the funniest one.
Yeah,
So kind of fill
yeah.
in the blank. That this seems to be a favorite. It doesn't reveal anything, but that aside, it's very much in line with Johnny. I feel like a separate phrasing, and we'll get to it. Is pretty much the last comment. I'll kind of get your thoughts, but
Mhm.
I have it up right here, and this is Johnny's character promo.
Name's Johnny Lawrence, two-time All-Valley champ, Eagle Fang Karate, 100% badass. I was the one who brought Cobra Kai back from the dead, and now that it's back in the grave, I'm focused on making things right with my former rival, Daniel LaRusso at Miyagi-Do, fixing things with my son Robbie, and dominating the Saikai Taikai. I never back down from a fight, and we're about to face our biggest fight ever. Yeah, I've had my ups and downs, mostly down. But the future looks good. All right, we done yet?
Okay, so we when we talked about Kenny's promo, you mentioned that like he didn't really sound like Kenny. What did you think about this one with Johnny?
Yeah, I think it's about as close as you can get for Johnny. Like if Johnny was sitting down doing one of these because maybe he had to as a sensei, um, like the topics, he talks about bringing back Cobra Kai. Like if this were a promo for the Sekai Taikai, however you pronounce it.
Sure.
I prefer my way, but whatever. Like it seems odd he would bring that up, but it's because it's in the show, we get it. So whatever. I like I said, I think these are ultimately written for the fans, not necessarily in universe in the show, but that's fine.
Right,
But
right.
it talks about bringing back, Cobra Kai, his rivalry with LaRusso and
Reduso. Okay.
Redusso. It's a new Harry Potter spell.
Yeah.
Um, and then Robbie. So he recaps very briefly, his 5 seasons and ups and downs. He drinks a beer at the end. He just pulls it out. I kind of like it. So it's got a vibe to it.
Yeah, yeah.
Credit to the writing and Billy Zapka can push that through.
Yeah, I bet you he could have improved it better, but I'll take it. What do you think about his red coat, red jacket?
Um, it looks like something Johnny would wear. It's not the iconic one, but
Right.
it's funny you mention it because for me it just made sense. That's Johnny. Like that's what he looks like. But yeah, I mean it's a good costume choice. God, it's probably the best costume choice thus far. Um,
Yeah.
I guess Kenny had a decent one, but like some of them I never really liked. Like I didn't really like what Sam was wearing, or Robbie was like, okay, maybe a little bit. Um, but yeah, Johnny, like his costume looks like Johnny. So if
Yeah,
that makes any
it
sense.
does.
Yeah.
No, it makes a lot of sense. I don't think I need like a graphic jacket, but like maybe a little
Mhm.
bit more, some pockets or I don't know. It looks a little thin. I don't know. That's why I'm not the costume
Well, you know
designer.
what it looks like. They know Johnny's iconic for a red jacket and
Yeah.
wore red through the show a lot. So it just looks like then the wardrobe department just looked and grabbed the closest one they could find that would be like, you know, that would work. It's not like something iconic from the show, but it's kind of close. Actually, I feel that same way about the trophies in Daniels. I actually did go back and check, and the
Uh,
trophies he holds in the promo are not the ones that were in the.
that's correct,
Um,
right? Yeah.
I think I
You
made
know
an
what?
Instagram post on that.
It almost looks like a jacket Tom Welling would wear on Smallville. I guess that's why it's like, man, it's like it's just straight up red.
You know what? See, like right now, and on my Twitter feed, or I have the trailer playing, and
Uh,
it's the scene of him in the pawn shop, and he's got like a red jacket. Well, it's more like a hoodie or a zip up hoodie, like a zip up.
yeah.
But it's very similar. It's a Johnny look for the show. So not an exact costume, but basically in the vague. Um, it's at 31 seconds. You're like looking on the
Oh
trailer.
yeah, yeah. I was just let me see, 31. I was scrolling and then just started looking around. Okay, so let's see here. 28. Of course, we got to buffer a little bit. 31. Oh boy. Yeah,
You have
it's
a
fine.
poor internet connection.
I really do. And I'm the only one at home right now, so the Wi-Fi should be fine. But it isn't. What are the other videos that came out? I actually didn't watch this. It's the what is it? Who said that line? Did you watch this?
Oh, I don't normally watch these things. Like I don't find them
Yeah.
particularly interesting, to be honest with you. Like these. these games. They're playing games with the cast. Like, okay, I
Right.
mean, I get some people like that, which is fine, but if you followed me, like the Watch Party YouTube channel, I do theories, I do analysis. I'm far more interested in character motivation, just the cast hanging out and being friends and playing games.
Yeah, I want them to fight.
It's
If they
not
were
what I
fighting,
do, right?
sure, sure. If they have some, pugil sticks or something like that, then we're talking. Um,
Yeah.
I did I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched maybe I don't know like 30 seconds of it. At the very least, I saw that like Sholo called it the wrong game, and then they to everyone's faces kind of like who wants to tell them, So I thought that was funny, but after that, I was just like, yeah, like it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, when these drop, I'm usually working, and so I don't have time to like really sit there and pay attention, because I'm
Mhm.
also probably trying to create content at the same time,
Well,
to
that's the way
to
I
post.
feel too.
Yeah,
I get busy. I got go here, do this, and then I'm trying, to put out awesome, top quality videos and
right.
podcasts for the
That's
community.
right.
So,
There you go. There you go. Free stuff for everybody.
hmm.
All right. So now we will get into the third LaRusso of these character promos. This is going to be Anthony. Zoom this in real quick here, and this is what Anthony has to say.
Hey, I'm Anthony LaRusso. Yeah, that LaRusso. You know my dad. And I'm the kid who thought karate was just for boomers. I've spent more time surfing the internet than on the mat, but it turns out life's not a game, and it doesn't come with a reset button. So I've been working hard at my karate alongside my sister Sam. And training for the Sekai Taikai, it's like leveling up for real. I'm finding out that there's a lot more to being a LaRusso than just cool stories to tell at parties. It's about honor, so watch out, because I might just surprise you this year.
I was surprised how is he going to grow another like 5 inches tall and per octave? I think that is probably the most like what I feel like Anthony is. Like I think that's probably the closest to. I don't think there's anything wrong with that one. His promo.
It's for the fans again. Like if he's
Yeah.
talking to ESPN, he wouldn't say that LaRusso. I don't know. Like the viewers of
Oh yeah.
ESPN watching the Sekai Taikai on ESPN or whatever international network, sports network, international karate network you're watching, wouldn't
International
know
credit.
Anthony's past of being kind of a brat.
The
So
IKN, the International Karate Network.
there
Okay.
you go.
Yeah,
There
the
you go. The
IKN.
international
I hope they
IKN.
have a
Yeah.
subscription so I can watch the Psychiatric.
And he says,
Uh,
I thought karate was for boomers. That line actually, what's the word? Grates my nerves or something because his dad is a Gen X,
makes him
right?
cringe or cringe. Like it's cringe.
Cringe. Yeah. It's just, it's just like, your dad's not a boomer. Like, get it right. Like he would know that. But
Would he?
the guys writing this stupid thing.
Frustrates you. Maybe we stop doing these.
I have a video that's doing, I just made a short, the problems, and I'm gonna make of the promos part one, and there's gonna be a part two, and that's gonna be in it, the boomer line.
All right, looking forward to those as always. Anything that you put out. I'm trying to see if there's one that I've missed recently. I feel like I'm caught up.
No, I
Like,
think we're caught up. I think we've done them all.
okay, no. I meant for you for your videos.
For well, yeah,
I
especially the
feel
shorts. I do try to. I'm want to get the shorts out.
yeah, sure.
Even one or two a day. We'll
It's
see.
it's sunny out. You want to pull out the shorts sometimes.
Ah,
Maybe borrow some from Daniels.
ah, ah.
Okay, all right. What are we doing here? We're going to talk about season three now. Um, as we, I do have like notes here to kind of go over, so we can get some more details. Had a little help with that. I want to give a little shout out to Carrie with a C, who who reached out and it just gave some tidbits and was very kind about it and said, she really enjoyed our season two, but there were some stuff that we had missed, and I agreed, and so she offered to send some notes my way, and I said that some of these will definitely make it in because it is definitely worth mentioning. But which part did you want to kind of summarize what happens in season three real quick, if you're okay with doing that?
Um, Crippled, rock concert,
Uh-huh.
walking, fighting,
Rock concert. What was the other ones?
walking,
Walking.
and
Yeah, that
then
happens.
Fighting. I think that
Definitely
that was
fighting.
Miguel's storyline basically.
Sure,
So
sure. A little
yeah.
reunion of sorts, some
Hmm.
closure. There's a little bit of that as well.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's see here. We can go to the very beginning of the episode. Let's see here. What we got? Oh, a lot of details here. Okay, so obviously, following the fight, we find out let's see, Aisha moved, or did she just transfer schools?
While her parents pulled her, so I
They
guess
did move,
it was
actually.
both. Yeah, it was weird because it while Yasmin and Moon says they pulled her out of school, and then in season 4 we learned she also moved.
Right. In the beginning, obviously Miguel has been hospitalized, which we saw that at the end of season two. And in the beginning, we see Robbie is also in hiding. This is when Johnny is looking for him in the van.
No, are you jumping ahead here? Okay, so
Is
I
that
mean
episode
the
two?
beginning of the first are you in episode 2? Because the beginning of the season, Johnny's watching on the bar. The news report
Right.
Robbie's missing. Daniel's looking for him. Louis has a lead because he was working at Sal's and knows inventory and the mozzarella sticks. I'm sorry, it's maybe my favorite line from Cobra Guys where they talk about how he says mozzarella sticks. Anyway,
Really? Okay.
the van is missing.
Right.
Daniel goes to look for it, finds the GPS Robbie removed. Yeah, then at the end of the episode goes looking for Johnny, says figuring he'll recruit Johnny, they'll look for Robbie together.
And they end up seeing Shannon as well. One of my favorite interactions with Shannon and Johnny, just because we don't get enough of it. And,
Yeah.
Shannon's trying to clean herself up, and Johnny's looking like shit because he got his ass kicked in the very beginning, which is also still one of my favorite comedic moments, is when he tries to do like some sort of I don't know, like
Jump
some sort of
kick.
kick, yeah, jump kick,
Yeah.
and just completely misses,
Mhm.
which is a contrast for like the very first time we see him in Ace Degenerate, where he
Mhm.
actually connects with Kyler, and then the growing thing. Um, Now, what do you think about the dynamic between Daniel and Robbie early on in season three? Because in season two, the LaRussos took Robbie in because his mom disappeared and he was living by
Well,
himself.
it gets hard because Daniel's trying to help Robbie, but Robbie's on the run. He's really not himself. He doesn't know what he's doing, and then he ends up at Shannon's, and Daniel's the one who actually calls the police. Um, and so yeah, early season, Robbie's blames Daniel for him then getting arrested and getting brought away, and then even in episode 3, then Daniel's trying to call him at the juvie center, but Robbie just hangs up the phone. He doesn't take his call.
Right. And not only that, he's unable to respond to like Sam's emails and vice versa. It has a confrontation with a new character by the name of Sean, who
Mm.
obviously we would find out uh, in the following season is related to Kenny's brother. They end up they come on good terms after having some beef themselves. But also while Robbie's in juvie, this is jumping ahead just a little bit, but Kreese also does pay a visit to Robbie,
Yeah, it's worth noting that's after Johnny misses a scheduled visit that Bobby was putting together.
right?
Johnny misses that visit because That was Miguel's having this big surgery, and Rosa asks him in English, will he come, pray with them? For
Right.
Miguel, he can't say no, it's hard, and then he ends up missing his meeting with Robbie. And so it's, Johnny just pulled between two worlds, two suns, essentially.
It was a very difficult situation because it's one of those moments where you're just like, well, this is a valid reason, and only Robbie could understand what was going on. But again, it's complicated because of the stuff that happened between Robbie and Miguel.
Hmm.
And so even if Johnny tried explaining, he's not going to want to hear it, if especially if the word Miguel was uttered. Um,
Right.
did we learn anything about?
Well, I mean, I can jump in.
Yeah,
Sam has um some issues at school. It's hard for her. She's having flashbacks to the fight,
right.
flashbacks to Miguel falling. She actually ditches her first day back and then manages to go back through, but um isn't isn't kind of fitting in well. And then let's see, she does visit Miguel in the hospital, and then they get into fights with Cobra Kai. Then let's see, in episode 4,
Soccer, yeah, the
yeah,
soccer
the
field.
soccer
Yep.
field, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one because that was the first time we saw Miyagi-Do trying to prove to people that they're not like a bunch of pussies. Because I remember kind of going into season three, and we waited a year and a half for it too, between seasons two and three. Um, I just kind of got sick of all the people like talking shit about Miyagi-Do all the time, and some of
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
individual characters, and I'm
There's
just
that
like, man,
watch party guy
yeah,
on
he's
YouTube.
he's very you hear him all the time talking about Sam and those pussies, but also
I even debated Daniel with Brianna.
I remember that. I
Or,
remember that. I think I
yeah,
tuned in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I was definitely working and tuning in to that one. I believe that was alive. Yeah.
Yeah, that was alive,
Yeah.
yeah.
Another moment that I often forget about, but then there's that car wash moment too that, Sam and some of the other students are trying to raise for Miguel and Hawk, our favorite characters here, beats the shit, out of Nate and takes the money. So not a good season for Hawk because this is like
Hmm.
Hawk's like I guess peak in well, so season four. Yeah, this is like the worst of Hawk that we see, right? Is in season three.
Yeah. They didn't want, the funny thing is, if you ever think about it, they just didn't want Miyagi-Do getting the credit for the money. It's not like Hawk
Right. Oh
stole the
yeah.
money. He still gave it to Miguel. He just didn't want Nate and Miyagi-Do to get the credit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems kind of maybe not worth it in my opinion. But Nate got the F bomb.
He did. He absolutely did. Yeah, that was hard because that was also a hard time. That in America, the height of like, the riots and Stop Asian hate was on the rise, and then like to see Nate all roughed up, I'm just like, oh Jesus, like I can't escape it. Like even the show that I love is like,
Yeah.
that wasn't intentional, obviously. It was just like by happenstance. But yeah, that was a whole ass thing that I just obviously put in the back of my mind and then was kind of reminded of it kind of going through like the watches in our Facebook group. So it's just one of those things.
Hmm.
um Also in season three with Tori, uh we
She wasn't at the dojo. Kreese went to her place,
that's right,
talked to her, but she was caring for her mom. She was,
mom's
dealing
very
with
sick.
dealing with probation, um, trying to make rent and get the money together. Her landlord offered her an alternative form of payment for the rent. Um,
Like another type of currency.
In a fashion, yeah, yeah. She could get a discount on the rent, I guess. Um, I
Okay.
think Kreese figured this out. She didn't tell him, but he figured it out and intervened, and he said, there is no alternative form of payment of rent. t- and he used a cigar cutter with the landlord putting his finger in it.
Okay, all right. And so I'm trying to think if there's anything else that came out of the soccer fight. I don't think so. I mean, Sam does
This
kind of
school
rally
sucks. I
everybody.
mean, that's yeah, just a little bit of callback to
Sure, sure.
yeah, the
And the
first one.
song call back to Karate Kid Part 2.
Right. Episode 2, we should say we get flashback, our first flashback in episode 2 as well.
Right. Okay, right. We get an introduction of young Freeze, a little one of those, them using our expectations against us when we think, Jesse Cove, it's like, oh, we know that is Martin Cove's son. A lot of us thought that he's playing the younger version of his dad. And yeah, the scene kind of plays out very similarly to the McFlys and Back to the Future a little bit,
A
at
little
least
bit,
that's
yeah.
the vibes. Yeah. And then we find out that this football player is actually bullying, this I don't know, was he a bus boy? I kind of
Yeah,
forget,
like the
but
bus boy, yeah.
like the bus boy, and we find out that is Crease,
Mhm.
and so he himself was bullied, but very much of a scrapper because they get into a fight, and this is where we also learn about Betsy a little bit. Uh, Also, is this? Am I mixing up 2 and 3 now when Johnny goes? We did. That's right. We talked about that in the last season when Johnny follows him to the shelter. I'm mixing up the 2 seasons now. Um, this is some of the more emotional
Oh, wait, one
moments.
one thing we should before we get to 5 though.
Yeah.
Okay, Tom Cole,
Yep.
business is bad. Tom Cole's offering to buy the dealership.
Right.
Because whatever it is,
Yona.
that yeah, is may cut off their supply of Japanese imports. Daniel's like, I got this, and flies to Japan. And then in episode 4 is the right path.
Right.
He's having trouble, so they're not going for it. He doesn't know, what am I going to do, and he's at a little bar. Maybe I'll head over to Okinawa, just look around, figure something out. And there he runs into Kumiko.
Right. Yep. Who is at first I remember the very first time I saw Kumiko, I go, oh, he's imagining this. And so she actually sees him and then like waves or whatever. I'm just like, oh, well, didn't expect that, and obviously I welcomed it because that episode would end up being like one of those like very special episodes because
Mhm.
not only is it the return of Tamlin in this the role that a lot of people is a beloved character. I feel a lot of people were
Mhm.
also rooting for those two.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
Like I once got a comment, this before season 3. Someone said, Daniel, like in was 100% serious. Daniel's like should divorce Amanda and then marry Kumiko because she was the one he was
Oh,
always
yeah,
meant to be with. Yeah,
I
like
heard
it
that a
was
lot
like,
too.
but you can't blame it. It just needs their marriage just needs to not work. That way he's free to marry Kumiko. Like people were all in on that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds very easy. Let's bring that up to the showrunners.
Yeah.
We have an idea. Let's just have him divorce Amanda for reasons. Um, but also this is where we get some more of Mr. Miyagi through his letters.
Hmm.
And so again, just kind of echoing something that's been said every single season is that they wanted the spirit of Miyagi to continue. And so we get new dialogue read by Kumiko. So that was a very interesting way to kind of introduce some more Miyagi-isms and
Hmm.
quotes and stuff like that is through these letters. So we learned some really great stuff, including Mr. Miyagi talking a little bit more about Daniel and about the family, the LaRussos, that is, and also Sam calling him, grandfather and all these. So very, very emotional
Hmm. Hmm.
episode written by Michael Jonathan Smith, who knows how to tug at those heartstrings really, really well. And what that episode ends with is the reintroduction of Chosen, which I don't remember. I think I didn't buy his entrance in terms of like, the way Chosen was looking because
I think that the editing, it's more about the character, that's Daniel's reaction, than
okay,
letting, like, trying to get us to think something big is going to break out. Because I didn't think like there was going to be some fight either, but I can understand Daniel reacting to seeing Chosen the first time after all these years.
right. Um, was there anything worth mentioning about Kreese back at the Cobra Kai dojo? I know that there's like, the Clarence the Snake,
Yeah, he remodeled a little bit. He's cutting some of the weaker kids.
right?
It's
And
just, yeah, building it up, teaching
Tyler,
his lessons. Yeah.
yep, yep. Kyler is also in the ranks. Uh,
In episode
for to be
6.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's coming up. Man, for
Yeah.
some reason I felt. I mean, I guess all that stuff happens with Kyler and Brooks in episode 6 on King Cobra. I
Yeah.
thought, yeah, okay. Um,
Okay, well, in 5, yeah. So we got the reintroduction of Chosen. We could just talk that. So then they're talking, it's a little tense. And then Kumiko's like, "Ciao, I gotta go. You two hang out." And
right.
uh,
Shelby
um,
plays it so well too. She's just all nonchalant about it.
yeah,
I mean, because like I don't know if she's in on the joke, but she knows that Chosen has changed. Daniel hasn't or doesn't,
right.
yeah, that was pretty funny.
So Chosen takes him around. They go to Miyagi Island. He takes him to his home dojo. He sees the scrolls. Um,
They kind of
at his
compared
home.
knowledge too in terms of like
Yeah.
the Miyagi Do's history,
Hmm.
and this is where Daniel also learns that it was also offense and not just defense.
Right.
And this, yeah, so Chosen teaches him like the pressure points and all of that, and gives him a scroll for something else that Daniel can keep for his collection.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's the Daniel Chosen part of this story. Um, this is when, okay, so Miguel is getting his massages from Brandon guy, hippie
Right?
guy.
Yep.
Um, you know, and of course Johnny knows, well, that's not going to work. And so entices him. So Johnny does his stuff, from the girly mag to setting his foot on fire, which don't work. Johnny's techniques aren't working. Johnny's like, you know what? Forget it. Let's just have some fun. He takes him to the holy grail of the fountain of healing, which is the Snyder concert.
Right. I know that Miguel and Tori, they also, it gets awkward with them too. I kind of mentioned the sushi restaurant earlier, but I kind of forget that their talk then was about Tori not coming to visit him, right?
Yeah.
In
And
the
that's in
hospital. That's the
episode
other thing.
6. We'll get there.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. Holy
Yeah.
cow.
We're still on
Okay.
5.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah.
Okay.
Snyder. But so he's at the concert and the girls are flirting with him. He's good. And, Johnny notices Miguel's starting to tap into puss.
Yep.
So, it's something I said. It's the healing power of rock and roll, which is what
Yep.
this show is about. So it makes sense. And so Miguel's walking and their storyline, I think, Carmen sees it a little. They're happy, and yeah. So Johnny's looking it up, and at the end of the episode, Johnny sees Allie sent him a Facebook request.
And we didn't talk about how Johnny had that really long email.
Next episode. So now we got the Miyagi Do kids, right, in episode
Okay.
5. So a lot goes on here too, because Cobra Kai's running wild. Because they had been getting pushed around and Sam started teaching them because Daniel's out of town. So Sam's like, I'm Sensei Sam. I said it in season 1. So she's teaching him, but Amanda found out and is like, I said no more karate and shuts it down. Sam sulking, but then Cobra Kai showing up at golf and stuff. And Chris is
Right.
working there and they're stealing, they're doing stuff. Chris is like, man, they're messing up my work. And Sam rallies the troops.
And then this is where we get another fight at the laser tag.
Hmm.
Sam gets a little PTSD from hearing Tori,
Yeah, she shows
and
up. Hmm.
yep, and freezes and is not there to help Dimitri, who gets his arm broken by Hawk. And we
Ouch.
see,
Hmm.
yeah, Hawk feels, uh, some type of way about it too, while everyone else is, basically like telling him no mercy, that. So you
Yeah.
see that he didn't feel good about that.
Hmm.
Um,
And intercut with the fight at the juvie. This is
right,
when Kreese, who had been visiting with Robbie, had said, sometimes in the real world it pays to strike first. And that's when Sean, who had been pushing him around a few episodes, him and the other students, um, you know, Robbie sees an email from Sam. He's going to maybe reply, but Sean pulls the plug from the computer. That was kind of the final bit. And then so Robbie, taking Kreese's advice, goes ahead and strikes first, goes at war, and then big fight there, interspersed with the fight at the golf and stuff, laser tag.
right,
And
right.
then and it seems like sometimes standing up, Robbie and Sean had a little bit of respect at the end of that.
That's right. Yeah, I remember specifically Robbie just getting picked up after being cuffed and smiling. Um,
Right. Yeah, that's a big episode. By the way, my favorite episode is season 3. Um,
okay. So let's see, Miguel and Tori over at the Japanese restaurant. I mentioned that.
now we're here, episode
Now we're
6. You want
here.
to dive right in? Yeah, dive right into Miguel and Tori. Go.
We're head on first. That's kind of it. Like, yeah, Tori doesn't come. Didn't visit him, and obviously he feels some type of way about it. But again, it's all complicated. Like if I was in Tori's shoes, there's a number of things kind of going through my head. Like first off, um, if I show up there, who else is there? Like she's going there by herself. It'll be outnumbered. It's hard, and I feel she probably feels some sort of guilt as well.
Yeah, definitely. So, and then we can work backwards a little bit. The reason they were at the sushi restaurant is
Oh,
because
yeah.
Johnny needed pictures for his Facebook,
That's
and he
right.
needed pictures to show off
New
to
new
Allie.
pictures, new
Right,
pictures.
new pictures, right.
Not the old stuff
Mhm.
from the magazines. Yeah. So doesn't did she already reply with like emojis? Does that mean she's hot and bothered? Like, was that later?
I think that's later. Because she sent him a message like your page is kind of bare or something.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of great photos, especially the one with like the butterfly wings on the wall.
Yeah,
That's a good
classic
one.
stuff.
He's reading a book.
Yeah, and this is also where Johnny wrote the really long reply. And the episode ends with him sending a short message.
Right. Episode 7, Sam has a
Whoa, whoa, whoa,
nightmare.
whoa,
Oh,
whoa,
what?
hold
What
on.
happened?
Come
Oh,
on, man.
Kyler. Sorry, Kyler and Brooks. My bad.
Okay, but how do we get to that? We get to the him recruiting Kyler and Brooks because we have a
Right.
flashback to Vietnam. This is where King Kroba started. Young Kreese, and we meet a guy with a ponytail, and another twig.
We have Twig and Ponytail.
Yeah.
Are these guys that he's overseas with, and somewhere around here, he's getting a letter from Betsy back at home.
Mhm.
And is this the same? This is not the same episode he finds out, right, about Betsy. That's later on.
That's at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We just get the introduction of these characters. Most people kind of think the guy with the ponytail is Terry Silver, but it's not
It's a misdirect, and it's my least favorite of the series.
because it
So
still doesn't really quite explain like why does Twig end up
becoming
having
just like him, and like I thought they were gonna pay it off somehow, and we're several seasons now past that, and I don't see any payoff, and now it just seems like an awkward misdirect, and I don't like it. To be
yeah,
honest with you, uh,
yeah.
um,
Basically, they were just trying to show us like, well, he didn't always have the confidence and the courage, right?
yeah, which might have been
That's really it.
okay, but the ponytail, that character there, like who you think is Tony or Terry Silver, talk Johnny, and it's
Right.
you know. So anyway, they get captured. Ponytail dies. Um,
Get shot,
and this
right?
this leads into the recruiting of Kyler and Brooks. Brooks loses the Hawk badly, is eliminated, but Kyler's on board. Mitch is kicked out. Yeah, okay, so that's our episode 6. A snake magically appears in a car. We won't even talk about that. Some parts of this episode are worth forgetting.
Sure. Okay. All right. So yep, that is part of King Cobra. But does that snake get in there? We don't know. And then episode 7, yeah. So Sam has that nightmare about Tori in the back
Mhm.
of Miyagi-Do. I feel a lot of people knew, right? Or you think it was kind of down the middle, or maybe more people knew that it was a dream sequence than not?
Something about it felt wrong.
Okay.
Like even the first time I watched it, I knew something was wrong because there's a way they do it that Tori just appears out of nowhere. Like she walks up to Sam, but like Sam never saw her. She didn't come in anywhere. Like I knew almost immediately something about it was off or wrong, probably dream sequence.
Yeah. Um, she admits to Daniel that she's afraid, when they go on the little trip to the lake, and Daniel takes her over to the All Valley arena, and
Can I just take a
yeah,
second here? Because it's like Amanda is the one who said, well, let him play hooky for a day or take a day off for a day. I mean, how many parents are like that? Because my parents, it doesn't matter. Like, well, they would never be like, oh, you can miss school for a day. I don't know.
yeah. I'm sure Amanda's just thinking, what's one day, and
Yeah,
she could probably
definitely, and
use
that's in line with her character, I think.
right,
Um,
absolutely.
mhm.
Um, so we learn about how Daniel, he shares like Mr. Miyagi's words of wisdom about not losing to fear, and this was in reference to Mike Barnes. Um,
I'm sorry you misspoke, Mike fucking Barnes.
oh my fucking, but he's not that yet. Not
Not
until a couple
yet,
more
not
seasons.
yes, but it's a
Yeah,
little foreshadowing. Yeah, Miguel's back in school. He's fully recovered.
he learns about what happened to Dimitri and that whole thing with Hawk, and kind of doing the same thing. Well, maybe not the same thing as Dimitri in the second episode of season 1, but Johnny sneaks into school, right?
Yeah, at the
Yeah,
end,
sneaks into school, has a talk with everybody, and
he's opening up a new dojo and he's going to reveal
that's
the
right.
name.
That's correct. And is that pretty much it for 7? Or do they
Um,
go to the park in 7?
well, yeah, they're at the park. I mean,
Okay,
that's the end of 7, and he
got it.
reveals the name, Eagle Fang Karate.
That's right.
So
Eagles have fangs.
the only animal that can kill a snake is an eagle with fangs. So I
That's
mean,
it.
it checks out.
I think
Kreese
so.
comes and he offers Johnny to come back for about the 8th time at this point. Uh, Johnny refuses. One final point is Yasmin takes a liking to Dimitri's big dick. So that happens in this episode as well.
Well, okay, sure, sure.
She's
She
like, you
helps him.
remind
Yeah,
me of that Trunk character on Obliterated.
right. I'm from the future. I have seen the show already. Yeah, Kyler is picking on Dimitri because he has a cast, and Yasmin writes like
Like, I love your big dick.
yeah, it was something like that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because Kyler drew a dick on it. That's right. Okay, I gotta remember.
Hmm.
I was just
Right.
like, wait, what? I knew that he was picking on him. I forgot that he drew. People like drawing dicks on things. Let's see. We're at school. Miguel and Sam, they are speaking again, and they also run into Dimitri and Yasmin in the hallway, making out, sucking face. I think the kids say something like that. Do they still say that?
You're the one with the kids.
Well, yeah, I have 2 adults and one in middle school right now. Um, but we'll move it along. We go to the park and Eagle Fang. They're training out there. We got did we see the church in the last episode, right? That's also where Mitch, asked for like a bigger size, because it
Yeah,
was
that was when he was
okay.
tossing the shirts out. Yeah.
That was the last one. Okay, so Mitch also announces to the team here that the All Valley it's weird calling them a dojo when they're at a park, anyway, maybe just because it's still like Eagle Fang.
Miyagi-Do's a backyard, so
Well, I mean, but they also have a building. They just
oh,
it's not enough room for all the students. Because like if you think about like season two, they sat inside a few times,
it's true. It's
so
true. It's
they
true.
were indoor more. Um, okay, so let's see. All Valley has been canceled, and this I guess we forgot. It's a small detail, but a detail nonetheless. But we also opened up the first episode in season three with the PTA meeting, because of the school fight, and
Right.
this is something that a lot of other parents were kind of against, and so it kind of led up to this, and Sammy Miguel having now kind of rekindled like a relationship ish.
They all speak at the town council, and the town council's like, sure, whatever. Have your karate. This is the valley. So a
Right, right.
few other notes.
Yeah,
Robbie runs into Tori at the probation office.
that's right.
Um, Tori's just like, whatever, like she cheated on you. What are you doing? Or something. I don't remember the precise, but I know she says that to him and then um leaves off. And then later, after the town council meeting, Miguel and Sam are at the dojo.
Right.
Um, Miyagi-Do,
Some
she's
moves.
showing them around, yeah. And they throw a few punches, maybe a kiss, and that's when Robbie walks in.
Right. And it doesn't go well there. And then Robbie ends up going to Cobra Kai, where Kreese kind of does the thing at the end of 202, right? Where
Oh, you're thinking 201. Yeah,
201,
201.
okay.
And he
Yeah.
kind of just smirks to the
He just
camera
smirks.
with
It's the
with
exact
the
same
other
smirk, same
person. Yeah,
blocking.
with the person behind him. Yeah, for sure.
And then episode 9, this is where we get the reintroduction of Allie Mills or Schwarber Mills Schwarber.
Mhm.
Um, separated, right? Newly separated.
Mhm.
And I think that's pretty much it. So we know she's in town. And then we go to the Miyagi-Do students where Sam and Miguel continue their flirting. Daniel comes in. Is that my drum in your pocket? Right? So
Mhm.
something of
Yeah.
that nature. Daniel's concerned about the whole, relationship between Miguel and then Robbie. And Sam just wants him to trust her. Sam is happy that Daniel's willing to talk to Miguel. Miguel and Daniel
Have a one-on-one.
one-on-one. Yeah. Yeah. They
Mhm.
sit in the car together,
And they sit
right?
in the car. Yeah.
Yeah. I just shared a photo of that recently. And
Where well, Johnny and Carmen hooked up. We need to cover that. Um,
how long ago
at
was that?
the
That
end of
was,
last episode, and then in this episode they wake up together.
that's right. And we get some nips, get some Johnny nips. No, that didn't,
Wow.
you, oh, well, you were talking about, you and Mike were talking about if the Win and Chosen's,
The butt cheek, yeah.
bathrobe or, yeah,
That's
see,
true. I was
come on.
channeling you. Someone
I
had to
guess
talk about
so.
it.
I was talking about a dip. You guys are talking about the gasolines. Remember? Oh man, it's all related. I'm getting a little delirious here. Yes. So Johnny and Carmen do hook up.
So they hook up, and then that's when he gets the message from Allie. Hey, I'm in town. Let's meet up. Right?
Right?
Uh-oh,
Because
conflict, right? There's already
Carmen's going to
conflict.
work. Right?
He's finally making progress with Carmen again. They're back together, and then it's like, oh, the old girlfriend. Hey, let's meet up. Ooh.
Exactly. So meet up. They do, and he tries to impress her by ordering. I'm assuming is a vegan bowl of sorts, right?
Mung Dal Bowl,
Yeah,
Mung Dal Bowl.
yeah, I just love how he was practicing it. It's almost like he was channeling well, I guess like earlier when he was trying to like sneak into the hospital as Dr. Nguyen. I forgot how he
Win,
said it.
yeah,
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 it tries to tell the nurse like, come on, be a bad girl. It's a good one. That one doesn't get talked about very much, but I think it was pretty slick when he used it, but like I don't think people reference that line very much.
yeah. But anyway, Johnny and Allie meet up for lunch. Then they head off to golf and stuff, have a little bit of a date, and
We do.
relive the old times, play the games, the putt-putt. We get a little bit about Allie. She's got the 2 kids, they're good. Robbie's, a tough kid, complicated with him, they maybe almost kiss, but she gets a message and she invites him to an event later that night.
That's right. And one of the things that Johnny tells Allie, and I guess it's something that we all could have guessed, but he talks about like partying in his 20s and most of his 30s, you know. Does I
Mhm.
feel that? I'm like, yeah, that kind of sounds like me a little bit. And so like, yeah, as I get older myself, definitely need to slow down. So I totally get that. So yeah, episode 9, no, yeah, episode 9
Yeah.
ends. Yeah, ends with uh the party at Encino Oaks, and this is when um Johnny no this is when Allie and Daniel bump into each other, and Johnny sees this, and
From
it's just one of
afar.
those things like, yeah, we were heading in
Oh,
a really good direction, and then and then this happens.
here
um
we go again. Yep.
and was there anything going on with the students, the teens?
Yeah. Well,
What
during
was
that last segment, that was when they invited everyone over to the LaRusso house,
that's right.
Eagle Fang, the dojos, and they're talking, and Sam's giving a little speech about how they need to work together, maybe to stop Cobra Kai.
Right. And one of
So,
my favorite interactions when the door is answered, the exchange between Nate and Bert, I can't stand your stupid face. I won't come to your funeral if you died, or if you died, I wouldn't come to your funeral.
oh yeah, yeah, good
Yeah.
one. That's a classic one. Um, a few other points. So at the beginning of the episode, just moving back, Robbie's at the dojo. Kreese is talking to him, showing him around. Hawk doesn't like that Robbie's there because Hawk is still loyal to Miguel. Robbie kicked Miguel. So Hawk's like, hey, this isn't right.
Right.
But Kreese is like, maybe it is right. Tori talks to Robbie. What are you doing? Why don't you just run away again? Or are you going to run away again? Kind of digging underneath a little bit. Tori seems to understand. They go to the museum to get a new snake. Um, Robbie manages to get the snake. So basically, long story short, Robbie or Tori invited him, and Robbie gets the snake, wins the praise of Kreese, who mentions, "Oh,
Gail and
they're working
Sam.
together, the other side, yeah." And Sam and them, and then Tori stalks off. For some reason, I whatever. This is where the show loses me a little bit, but yeah. So that's the end of the episode.
Okay. And then in the final episode of season 3, we are at the LaRusso home, continuing on the discussion between the Miyagi-Dos and Eagle Fangs. And this is when the Cobras break into the house. No mercy. From Tori, uh, big oneer through the LaRusso house. This is where
The kids are ducking in the background. I'm sorry, I just got
yeah,
some.
slapping, right? Play slapping in one of your
Mm.
videos. You kind of show that, or was it them like kind of like lowering themselves to kind of hide behind
Yeah,
furniture?
they're like hiding in the background, but they're clearly you can see them on
Yeah,
camera.
that's funny. But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of moving parts, and it's like indoors, which is the other thing, kind of wild. But
Mhm.
yeah, they do a pretty good job, like choreographing it. It's just one of those things that vantage points, capture certain things that they're trying to obscure. But the biggest things to take away from the fight is the Dimitri and Hawk kind of make up in mid-fight.
Hawk switches sides. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Switch it
Mhm.
back. Kyler and Miguel had a pretty good fight, but also Sam and Tori have been chasing each other, leading into, is it the home dojo, right? Where
Yeah,
they
the
have
the
like the
back dojo.
nunchucks.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I kind of forget what breaks up this fight.
Basically Hawk wins, or like they
Oh,
win.
because he
Hawk
helped. Right,
Miguel.
right.
Yeah, and then Sam's managed to disarm Tori, and then that's when they burst in. It's over, and then she says, and her brilliant dialogue. This will never be over. You hear me?
Right.
And so, yeah. And so then she leaves and Tori's done there for the season. And that's the house fight.
Right. And that's, let me see, that's in December. Sekai
December
Tekai will
19th.
come.
It's just
Right,
the
December 19th, that's right. Well, the end of season 5, what's the time frame there, the timeline? Do you have an idea of
the end of summer. We don't have
the
a
end of
day, but I figure like mid to late August or something.
so we're talking about 6 to 8 months, right? From the end of season 3 to the end of season 5.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, all right. So 6 to 8, so less than a year. So again, more reason to why John and whatever they're all saying like rewatch the show because these little details,
Hmm.
it's some of it will come back or pay off
Hmm.
or just if you're a casual watcher who has seen it once or twice, and that's good enough for you. There's details that you're gonna miss. I think season 3 has a lot of them. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's safe to say. So, I mean, every season has something for sure, but definitely rewatch if you have the time. Or at the least, hopefully these recaps, these little, us just kind of going through the seasons are kind of helping. Um, okay, so after the house, we go back to the little reunion here with Allie. Really great moments between Allie and Amanda, and the boys here. They get their closure, but also not only that, this show gets to kind of rewrite Allie's exit from the second movie.
Yeah.
So that was one of the big things for sure that we all loved. So yeah, just really funny exchange. How like it's a really reminder as well. Like if you guys haven't seen part 2 in a long time, how that opens up is um, Daniel tells Mr. Miyagi that he wrecked the car, that she broke up with him for a college football player from UCLA, and in the show Allie says that, she told him that, the brakes were bad and she hoped that he didn't tell Mr. Miyagi that was her fault, and that also the football player was just a friend and she admitted that she probably kind of like, nagged him or whatever. And so it's a
Yeah. Pushed
misunderstanding.
her
They were
there.
teenagers. Yeah, that was all there.
Yeah.
So that was really good. They kind of get their closures, and um, Allie asked Johnny Carmen, because we
Mm.
apparently her and Amanda spoke in the ladies' room, and this is also where we get Johnny say Daniel.
Yeah, yeah. So I think what we get from all this is, Johnny had never been able to move on from Allie. He said that even back in season 2, and I think having this with Allie and Allie almost being impressed with Carmen without even having met her, he recognizes, his time with Allie is done. Allie was his great past, but Carmen is his great future. And he's feeling a little bit confident. Yeah. And then he says, LaRusso, Daniel at the very end, wishing them goodbye. So, it's that closure that Johnny had finally gotten that he needed.
Right. Johnny goes to the Cobra Kai dojo, and I remember seeing in the trailer, it was just like, what the fuck? Johnny's kicking down the door. What is going on? But yeah,
Hmm.
Johnny finds Robbie there, and this is where Robbie even tries to fight Johnny, and Johnny doesn't want to, and Robbie, uh, let's see, runs into a locker,
The
right? Runs
locker.
into a
Yeah.
locker,
Hmm.
yeah, and then this is where we get the fight between Kreese and Daniel, and Kreese and Johnny,
Hmm.
very, very violent. Shards of glass are being picked up. Everyone's bloody. Probably the bloodiest we've seen these three guys, really.
Hmm.
And even trying to think ahead, but it was definitely like the bloodiest at that time. We're like, man, season 3 is full of blood between Brooks and these three here during the fight at Cobra Kai. But before Daniel can kill Kreese, the fight gets interrupted by Miguel and Sam, who gets there
Hmm.
just in the nick of time.
And then Kreese has a proposal. Let's settle it the old fashioned way, tournament. So they're gonna once and for all, they're gonna compete in the All Valley. Whoever wins, gets to stay. Whoever loses closes up.
And I'm trying to forget. I feel like there's one more detail before we go back to the Miyagi-Do dojo.
Well, Robbie's there. Robbie tells them to leave. So Robbie comes to. Robbie stays with Kreese and then tells them, go ahead and leave. So
Yeah.
that's maybe what you're thinking.
Okay. And then back at the dojo, this is where Johnny and Daniel come out
Let's
to.
hold on one second. Let's go back and let's cover the flashbacks too. So we have the Vietnam stuff because it opens in Vietnam. They were captured at the end of episode 6. So we're progressing like on that timeline here. So they're captured. It opens, two guys are fighting on a bridge over some pit, and Grease is watching from the cage. The first guy just says, it's something horrible, like what is it? We don't know. Then it goes on further in the next section of the flashback. Uh, Basically, Turner's going to fight the captain and Twig, but Twig is too nervous. Kreese steps up, forget it, I'll volunteer. So Kreese fights in Twig's place, who we know is Silver now. Um, so he's taking Silver's place. Silver would have lost, so almost certainly to Turner. And this is also where now Turner drops the bomb that, oh, by the way, that girlfriend of yours died.
He wrapped her car around a pole,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he doesn't believe her. Very
Mhm.
heated fight. Turner's hanging for dear life over a pit of snakes, and Freeze.
Yeah, we find out it's a pit of snakes. Yeah, and then they fight, and Kreese has got him.
Freeze is like, "Give
There
me your
is
hand." Just kidding. Bye.
pretty much, yeah. There's an attack, and they may be able to get out, but Kreese throws Turner into the pit anyway.
Right. After the little attack from the quote unquote enemies, he saves Silver's life, and Silver says,
I'm there for you, man. Anytime you need me, I'm there for you. Yeah, something like that, basically.
we cut to Kreese, and he is making a phone call.
Yeah. Hey,
And
long time. Mhm.
exactly, yep, he's calling Dennis and Snake, and he's like, "Hey, round up the
He didn't
boys."
know Dennis and Snake.
I mean, he was in part 3 with them.
Well, yeah.
Okay, and so yeah, back at Miyagi-Do Dojo, we got Johnny and Daniel addressing the combined dojo to really great cover of In the Air Tonight by the Photo Men,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that, yeah. And yeah, let's begin, and that's kind of how season 3 ends. Anything
Mhm.
else you think we missed?
So they united. I think we hit the big stuff.
Right. Yeah.
But if you're looking for your season 3 recap, there you go.
Yeah, there's that. And also I think season 3 might have been the first season that we started doing like the season recaps to kind of start off, our season coverages. And
Mhm.
so you can go back and check that out with me and Brianna doing that one. So, all right, I think that's gonna do it for this episode. Watch Party. Do you have? I mean, I know you're definitely working on some things. Do you have something coming up like after this episode releases?
I put out a video a little spoilery. I'll have a video on titles. Shorts will be coming whenever and all the time. So yeah, stuff will keep coming up to the release and after.
All right, and make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel for sure. Watch Party,
Mhm.
so
Yeah.
that way you guys and turn on the notifications and all that. At the top of the show, I already kind of teased the things that are in the works, and yeah, just keep it locked here for the next 2 season recaps. And I think after that, we may have like maybe one more bonus episode to talk about anything else that's worth mentioning. If not, we're probably going to go right into the season 6 part 1 coverage at that time. So
All right.
over on Instagram and X, you can find Watch Party at Watch Party with the number 1.
Mhm.
And on X, I am Cobra Kai Pod. On Instagram, I'm Cobra Kai Companion, Companion with a K. So thank you guys for tuning into this episode, and we'll catch you guys next time.
Bye.